Hi, I'm Alan Brown. I'm from Bolton Diggers. The green spaces of Bolton are part of our commons. These are the spaces we all share together and enjoy together. Whether they are moorlands, parks, ancient parklands, farmlands, allotments, or community growing spaces like the ones my group, Bolton Diggers, maintain. Our green spaces provide for our health through sport and leisure, maintaining our physical and mental well-being. They also function as the lungs of our town. They form an organic sponge for various sorts of pollution and act to lock in harmful carbon dioxide and so help to offset global warming. Boltonians have always had a very close relationship with their green spaces and have always been very protective of them. In this short film, commissioned by Bolton Trades Council, we're going to hear from 6 local people who each in their own different way have a committed interest in protecting and preserving Bolton's green spaces.
I'm Kev Alsop from Bolton Trades Council. I'm here to bring a message of solidarity for all those people who are fighting to protect the green spaces of Bolton. We have a long history of success in Bolton when we all work together. Many years ago, just over 125, the working class people of Bolton who'd enjoyed the outdoors wanted to go up Winter Hill. They were obstructed by the local landowner with some bailiffs and police. Working together with trade unions and socialists, 10,000 people amassed from all around Bolton and walked up Winter Hill. It was a remarkable event that's based in the traditions of Bolton of solidarity and enjoying our green spaces. It's vital as we move forward that we continue to enjoy those green spaces with little opportunities for people to have recreation, with bills rising and poverty creeping in at every step. So it's important that we stay together and we all continue to fight to not only protect the green spaces today, but ensure that we protect them in perpetuality.
Hi, we're here with Barbara Hackett of the Community Network at Bolton Green Umbrella, and she's just going to talk a little bit about the importance of all the community groups she works with, the importance of retaining and sustaining green spaces in Bolton. Barbara.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Bolton Green Umbrella was formed 6 years ago now. The idea being that with the networks we're developing, the website and the Facebook page and newsletters, we can put people in touch with one another so people can find out what's going on, what's in their area, because lots and lots of people really care about this. They want to contribute, they want to join in. We're also finding lots of people who are benefiting from knowing about their local green spaces and getting access, and a lot of the groups, that's what they're doing. They're giving the public access to those green spaces. Because without the people who are maintaining the paths in our country parks and parks, people wouldn't bother going there anymore. Sure. And litter picking groups, you know, sometimes people say, well, what's litter picking got to do with it? It's got a lot to do with it, because people don't want to go to places that are fly-tipped and heavily littered and feel dirty and there's rats there. The litter pickers are doing a fantastic job of making these beautiful places beautiful again. It's all, the thing I love about all this is it all ties in together. You know, everybody networking, it's bringing that sense of responsibility back to ordinary people and empowering them again.
And taking a sense of ownership with green spaces.
And also feeling you're making a contribution, like you're doing here at Bolton Diggers. You're making a contribution by growing food that can then be donated to people who need it. So that's the wonderful thing, is everything ties in together. Networking people together introduces them to what's going on and prevents hopefully some reinvention of the wheel. You know, if somebody's done something before already, you might as well learn from what they've done rather than try it yourself and make mistakes.
So Bolton's green spaces are incredibly important for the local communities and for the local community groups on lots of different levels. Then,
absolutely,
from your experience.
Absolutely, I know you've found it here and you've found it everywhere. People who've had mental health problems, illness, bereavement, they will tell you time after time, you know, they get out into an open space and some of that pressure just lifts. It may come back afterwards, but by the time they're outside and they're in the garden or they're having a walk in the park, it really makes a massive difference.
That's
and
so true.
that's the thing, you know, into general well-being, physical health, mental health. As the Americans say, it's a no-brainer.
Hello, we're at Hassan Park. We're with Alan Johnson, a local campaigner who's been endeavouring to launch a campaign to save Hassan Park. Alan, what does the park personally mean to you in your life?
Well, this goes back to my childhood. This school in the background here is a primary school. It was a secondary Bolton. I went to that school. Played football on the park, played cricket on the park, came on the park to enjoy the facilities many a time as a youngster, and then later on I brought my daughter on the park, I brought my grandson on the park, so I've a lot of connections to the park, like many people who live around the area have. I think the strength of the campaign were the amount of people that came out supporting the campaign in many ways.
So, going back 100 years to 1921, the land was sold to Bolton Corporation. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, actually, it wasn't sold, but it was given by John Haslam, who basically lived in the school over there. I think the old house is the house used to be in the school grounds, or the school grounds were built around the house. It was given to Bolton Council to be used as a park for in perpetuity, if I want to a better word.
So when did you first learn that the park was under threat?
Well, I was about leafleting up Bromley Cross, that's what we do, not at the moment, but and I got a text by Councillor Martin McMullan, an independent councillor, was a Labour councillor, to tell me, did I know there's plans to build a school on Hassan Park? I texted him back, I phoned him back later on, and they said, no, I didn't. He'd been in a meeting, he'd heard this, like, kind of slipped out. Because we believe in the early stages, the council were trying to keep this under the radar.
So the actual proposal was originally to build a school, King's Academy, on this land.
Yes, it was.
And to give the land to the school, to the education department.
Well, see, this is what this makes messages originally. They sold the land off to the Department of Education. That's turned out to not be the case. It hasn't been sold off. So there's a lot of things I believe gone on underhanded. I think Tune's a success. I'm talking about the amount of people signing a petition, put window posters up.
So how did the campaign first get started?
Me and my daughter have a Facebook page. It's called Friends of Dean and Noble. So what we did, we utilised that social media site to let people know. And within the space, and we had hundreds of responses, very angry responses. This cannot happen. We must stop this. What can we do?
And so how many people signed the petition?
Well, we got over 3,000.
3,000, wow. Here with Sandy Hesketh from the Heart Campaign. Just going to go ask Sandy a few questions about the campaign in the past and where it's standing at the minute. Hi Sandy. When you first heard of Peel's plans for Bolton Park, how did you first go about setting up the Heart Campaign?
I thought I wasn't that kind of person to be involved in the campaign. But just the day before, we'd won a minor campaign, possibly major, a compound of generators to be built. There's a deer, and you see it running. It's quite a large one.
Oh wow!
Right on the horizon of the green where the sunshine is.
Yeah, got it.
See the white bum on it?
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Look, it's standing there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's magical.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, we'd had a neighbour alert us that he'd had noticed that they were going to build a compound of 14 generators, several metres high, along Snidel Way, which is where the Junction 5 slip road comes, which would have affected the stables at Snidel Way. The sound would have been horrendous. It would have affected residents along Manchester Road, and it would have been an eyesore. And we only found out the day before objections finished, and you have 30 days, but they only have to put, I think, 8 or 10 houses notices around the entrance to a site. So once we found out, we contacted the council. They gave us 30 days grace. They put notices up on lampposts, which there hadn't been.
Yeah.
And then we learned about campaigning, and my husband managed to do a graphic of what it would look like, which the Bolton News printed.
Yeah.
And we got lots of objection letters signed. We went door to door, knocking on doors, speaking to people. We went to the precinct and handed out leaflets and got a petition. We thought, this is what you did. Anyway, after the 30 days, very quickly, it was quashed. So I phoned up the planning officer and I said, why did that happen? She said, that is Greenbelt and that doesn't change. I said, oh yeah, but come on. I said, you can come back with another slightly different development. She said, no. She said, and she did it without going to committee. She did it with her own powers as a planning officer. And she said, it's Greenbelt and that won't change. The following morning, leaflet dropped from Peel about this development, and we went, oh, I didn't believe it. We were going to have a celebratory lunch. I didn't believe it. No.
Yeah.
But you see, we'd already had a little bit of experience in campaigning. So then we thought, this is huge. So we galvanised. We did bigger leaflet drops, larger area all over Overhoughton and West Horton.
So at that time, the original proposal was for a golf course and 1,000 houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The golf course and 1,000 houses for the Ryder Cup. It was always a Ryder Cup golf course. You see, there are 6 ways you can build on Greenbelt according to the government's National Policy Planning Framework.
Yeah.
And the easiest one for a developer is outdoor recreational. They tried with a racecourse, didn't see that was feasible. They tried with the centre parks, didn't see that was feasible. Golf course. And they've tried in many other locations because they own land in many parts of the UK. And we thought, everyone's going Bolton, Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Ryder Cup's normally in Paris, in Rome.
Yeah.
If it's in Europe, beautiful places, Gleneagles, gorgeous Scotland. But they were advertising it as Greater Manchester, not Bolton, Greater Manchester.
Yeah.
Even so, the traffic is appalling, and we thought, well, the government say there's 2.6 cars per household. If you've got over 1,000 houses, how many more cars? Congestion on the road. We don't have the school places. We certainly don't have the doctors' facilities, and Bolton Hospital is certainly not fit for purpose. So the infrastructure isn't there. In America, I understand that developers have to build the infrastructure before they do a new development on any scale. Should be that case here.
I'm here with Elizabeth Shepherd of Bolton Friends of the Earth, and going to talk a little bit about how we can protect our green spaces better. Elizabeth, could you tell me about the Greater Manchester Nature Recovery Plan?
Right. So this is a set of strategic ambitions for a thriving natural environment in Greater Manchester. It's not an action plan in the sense of setting out who will do what and how it will be funded, but it will be part of a national network of nature recovery areas, which the government hopes to have put together as a result of what they've put in their recently passed Environment Act.
Yeah.
So So the various local strategies will be created by different appointed local authorities, and they will provide a basis for landowners to apply for government funding for projects that will help nature to in line with the strategies. So local authorities don't have a legal duty at the moment to provide green spaces or to look after nature. So the fact that this is a legal duty under this new Environment Act is, I think, a new political development.
How does that apply to Bolton then?
Right. So this plan has been drawn up at Greater Manchester level, covering all the 10 boroughs, and it calls for improvement in several different kinds of natural habitats. So these include woodlands, rivers and other water bodies, parks and gardens and peats, and I think there's stuff about grasslands and heaths and that sort of thing. There's a set of maps showing where these different habitats are at the moment. So, for example, in Bolton, there's a bit of ancient woodland, which I think is in Hassan Park. And there's peat in Smithills Estate at Red Moss. And also, interestingly, where the M61 is, on either side of it, in the low-lying wet areas. So one's to the northwest of Wingates and the other one's south of Kersley, and that's marked as being peat as well. And then there are various parks and green spaces all over Bolton. So landowners will be able to apply for money to do the work that will help to meet the outcomes that the plan calls for. There's a whole set of outcomes. So, for example, the plan calls for parks and public green spaces to provide wildlife refuges and stepping stones for wildlife between nature-rich areas. So that's, I hope, as far as I can tell, councils will be able to, as landowners, apply for money. So they might be able to apply for some money to improve a park, to make it better able to connect to different areas that are on either side.
I'm here today with Councillor Martin McMullan. He's an independent councillor on Bolton Council. Martin's campaigned for several years around social and environmental justice issues. One of the issues with green spaces is that sometimes people can bequeath land to the people, and it's the council that takes over the land, and down the line they can sell the land off. So this land is part of our commons, and so thinking about how this land can be better secured for future generations, what have you got your own ideas around this, Martin?
Alan, obviously it became apparent with what were going on or proposed to happen at Hassan Park, i.e. this proposed to build a school on Hassan Park, that the public of Bolton can't put the trust in elected representatives to protect what was gifted to the people of Bolton, in many cases well over 100 years ago. So what I've come up with a plan in terms of, I intend to put a motion to full council this week, and the thrust of that motion is that we, in conjunction with an organisation called Fields in Trust, we set up a deed of trust. Now, Fields in Trust are an organisation that's been around since the 1920s, and I've discovered they already have some smaller level of protection, around 7 green spaces in the borough, i.e. public park and predominantly playing fields. They're, in the main, I think in entirety, set up around a covenant which you mentioned, which gives sort of some protection, but not to the level if we want to preserve them for future generations. So what I'm asking the council to do is to, in conjunction with Fields in Trust, set up a deed of trust around green spaces and public parks across the borough. What they would do, Fields in Trust would do a survey of the borough and identify the green spaces and public parks
there's a criteria around that. I think the green spaces have to be of a certain size,
Yeah.
but they would then, with the legal teams, set up a legal document that would be a deed in trust that would protect those green spaces in perpetuity against being built on or sold off.
Yeah.
Now, the only cost involved in this, because once they've done the legal aspect and put together this deed in trust, is that it's got to be put with the land register. It's got to be submitted into the land register. So there's a cost there, and I think they said the cost is around about £80.
Yeah.
So in terms of the council deciding to do this, there's no basis not to do it around cost and expenditure, etc. It will be about political will to do that. Now, when I first submitted the motion, I think it was in December last year, I got knocked back because I was hoping that the full council would make that decision on the night, i.e. this is what we want to do and this is how we'll do it. I was told, and maybe it's me being cynical, that you can't really create policy at that full council meeting.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, what bloody hell is the full council for?
Yeah.
However, they said you need to ask for a PDG, a policy development group, to be set up to look at how we do it, how we achieve that. So I need the full council this Wednesday to agree with me and say, yes, this is what we want to do. That's the route we want to take. We want to protect
all PDG.
No, that the full council want them as a full council to say, we want that. We want to protect our green spaces, our public parks as a principle in perpetuity. Then it goes to a PDG and they look at how they can make that happen.
Would they look at the legal aspects then? Is that the
No,
role of the PDG?
No. The PDG. I suppose if you put certain proposals forward, there may be many routes that you could achieve what your aim is.
Yeah.
So you'd have a PDG to look at all the alternatives. What do we think is the best in terms of cost or whatever? Whereas, as far as I can see, there's only one route that you can take, i.e. fields in trust. They're there for this very bit, reason they do it.
So we've now heard from our 6 local residents of Bolton, each with their own unique take on Bolton's green spaces. Kevin reminded us of how our relationships with our green spaces go back a long way, and he mentioned even the 1896 mass trespass over Winter Hill, which was coordinated by local trades unionists. Barbara talked to us about the role of community groups, of how new groups are always forming to protect and nurture local nature and green spaces, such as litter picking groups and Friends of Parks groups. Alan spoke of a very recent campaign to save a park under threat of a local school being built on it in Dean, and it's been a very similar case playing fields on Church Road. Sandra spoke of her group's gruelling 5-year battle against Peel, a large and powerful corporation, which has been certainly a David and Goliath encounter. Then we heard in terms of protecting green spaces for the future from Elizabeth, who talked about the potentially positive role of local nature recovery plans, and from Martin about protection for green spaces being given by giving them trust status. So we can see that Boltonians are doing today what they have always done in the past, nurturing and defending our green commons, saving and preserving them for the benefit of future generations. The green spaces of Bolton are an integral part of who we are and how we live our lives, of our culture and our heritage. So going forward, they must be protected at all costs from development. Now already this year, there have been 3 local campaigns for green spaces, which have tasted some element of victory. At Hassan Park, where we are now, at Bolton Park and at Church Road. Their success so far has been down to the commitment and the tenacity of unpaid local activists, people working with their neighbours single-mindedly, committed to a common purpose. If local people can succeed in this, surely there is nothing which we cannot achieve together in terms of the betterment of our local communities and environment, of our common rights and our standards of living.